folks, Paquera here and welcome to Ring the Bell Wrestling. This is the first video here as we head in towards Wrestlepalooza, and today we are going to have a look at my Wrestlepalooza predictions. No particular order, the card is pretty much set. With WWE, the amount of PLEs that they've been kind of pushing down these last few months, there could be some subject to change. There could be a late addition on SmackDown for Wrestlepalooza, but there's already a 5-card match, and generally that's kind of where Triple H likes to go with lesser PLEs. But ESPN are putting a big lot behind this, and they're wanting this to be the big thing. This is the first PLE on ESPN, so there may be an additional match added, but I don't think so. I think it's safe to say we can go ahead with this, and if there is one added, I'll just put it down in the comments as a pinned additional comment to what I think will be the outcome of that match. No particular order, let's get stuck in, and I think I'm going to run this down and how I feel maybe the match card will play out. And we're going to kick off Wrestlepalooza with Cody Rhodes defending his undisputed WWE Championship against Drew McIntyre. Last few weeks, Drew has kind of had to hold his own here by himself without Cody Rhodes. It's been a lot easier done though, because on the SummerSlam after SmackDown, Drew McIntyre took out Cody Rhodes. So he's been missing for about 2 to 3 weeks while he was out filming the movie for, I think it's Street Fighter. So that's kind of been okay there, and now we're going to have a Drew McIntyre take on Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes did appear on SmackDown last week to basically make this match official, and so we are going to, in my opinion, open the PLE with this match. Now, Drew McIntyre, he's been here, there, and a little bit of everywhere, trying to just fit in here and fit in there. But ever since the CM Punk feud storyline. But yeah, I'm hoping with this he can now fully get himself back into a storyline. I would not mind a Cody Rhodes Drew McIntyre storyline feud pushing towards the end of the year, maybe even culminating in some fashion at Survivor Series, which is November. So it gives us a couple of good months of a run there. Like I mentioned before, the Drew McIntyre CM Punk feud was probably feud of the year for 24, and it was fire from both men. Drew is very capable. I am a Drew McIntyre fan. I think he's pretty much the overall package, if you like. His in-ring is good. He's got the looks. He's got the promo skills as well. So I would really like to see Drew get stuck into another storyline feud, and I'd love this to really be the first one between Cody and Drew. Cody, as I mentioned, coming off a few weeks out because of filming for Street Fighter. Hopefully that's all done and dusted now, and he can get fully back into the ring. A bit weird though, because wins the bout against John Cena at SummerSlam, shows up for, I think it was a tag match the following SmackDown, and boom, he's gone for about 3 weeks. Felt like 3 weeks, may even be longer, probably 2. But anyway, yeah, so he is back now. With any luck, he is going to be back full time, and this is why I'm hoping that we can see a Drew versus Cody feud moving ahead. My prediction though is, I think this match, because of Cody winning it so soon, only at SummerSlam, so it's the beginning of August, I think it's very much a foregone conclusion that Cody Rhodes is going to come away with the Ring the Bell win here, and Drew McIntyre will be made to lick his wounds, but he will definitely come back, and I am, like I said, hoping this is the start of something between these guys for a while. Maybe keep in the back of your head somewhere around here, Randy Orton might want to, or they may want Randy Orton to get involved, whether it's this match specifically. And look, I don't think it would really go against it. I think there is probably somewhere along the line a likelihood that Randy Orton, he might just get stuck back into it in and around the championship. We could do that. There could be a really good triple threat down the line, and maybe in Perth. Who knows? But for now, Cody Rhodes with the win over Drew McIntyre. And that leads me to our next match. The next match is going to be Jimmy and Jay, the Usos, back together facing the Vision, or the Brons, and Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker. I'm a huge Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker fan, but Bronson Reed, the big old Aussie, absolutely love his character, love his in work. He's a very agile for a big fella, and not bad for an Aussie. But yeah, I just absolutely love him. He was on a tear last season before he got injured. He's come back, having to bloody learn to walk again because of his injuries. And boy, he doesn't look like he's missed a beat. And that tsunami is devastating. But like I said, he can go. He's agile. He's doing things a big man really shouldn't do. But he reminds me as well of a good old-fashioned traditional big man who could move. And he's teaming up, obviously, with his Vision teammate, Bron Breakker. Ho, ho, ho. Oh, he does the dogs. He's a dog. So, yeah. Another one I like, is obviously one for the future, part of the whole thing of this Vision, even with Paul Heyman, is to build these guys up, especially Bron Breakker. He's been tapped with the golden tap, really. He's the future world champion. And I think that is in his future. The spear, devastating spear. But I think it's overdone a little bit in matches. I really think I'd love to see it just used primarily for two reasons. Going into his finisher, which is when he goes off the ropes at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and also when he just runs around the ring from one side to the other, usually around the commentary desk, and absolutely smashes somebody. Those are the times I want to see the spear. Maybe that's just me, but it's a brilliant spear. Some of the attempts he makes and some of the ways he does it is just absolutely, oh my god, this is awesome. But I think they need to tone the use of that down a little bit, and because there's times I feel it's becoming like, just a spear. It's taking away a little bit of that specialness. Is that the word? About Bron's spear. But I love Bron Breakker. I love these two together as a tag team. Now we go to the other side. Jimmy and Jay. Well, is this their first match back officially as the Usos since Bloodline? I think so. And Jimmy, obviously, soon to be a new dad. But and Jay coming off his solo run. There were rumours towards the end, I think, of Jay's last championship run there. Before he loses to Gunther, that he and Jimmy may be looked at putting back together the Usos. This is, I believe, probably the start, and I'd like to think it is a little bit of a start for the Usos together within the tag team division, because I think the tag team division needs a massive breath of fresh air, especially on Raw. It's really lacking, and we'll leave that for another day, probably. I'll go off on a tangent. But it's going to be good to see the Usos back together on a PLE. Obviously, the Vision last lost and I forgot we had Clash in Paris when they faced Jay Uso and Roman Reigns. So I think overall, just to keep that absolutely ruthless mentality of destruction and damage that the Brons, I'm going to call them, can do and are. They do need to pick up the win here. My prediction is the Vision, Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker, the Brons, to win here. And I'm wanting a little bit of a demolition job. I really want them to set a tone here, and I think this should have been set a little bit longer. I think it was set a while back, but it kind of faltered a little bit, and they either both picked up losses in some of the other dead rubber matches. I really think these guys are the future, and I know Bron Breakker is that guy, right? That's what they're saying. That's what they're pushing all the time. And I'd like to see them destroy the ever-living hell out of the Usos. I'm not saying a squash match, but I'm not saying I don't want to see a 15 to 20 minute match, maybe a 10-minute match. Short, sweet, to the point, a big beatdown, especially towards the end. Now, do I think Seth Rollins is going to interfere in this? No. Could Paul Heyman return? There's a possibility. Because him with those two works a lot better, I feel, rather than when he's trying to be the mouthpiece for the Brons and Seth Rollins. So we'll see what happens there, but I think this is going to be a straightforward match. But like I said, I am picking the Brons to win here, and I want them to smash the living hell out of the Usos. Post-match, look, I think this is going to not be a one and done, sadly. Maybe we can push it a bit for something at Raw, but what's for both teams? Well, I'd like to see the Usos get back into the tag division, like I said. I'd like to see the Brons also in that tag division, causing ever-living hell against everybody. The New Day, the Usos, Judgment Day. Where's the Raw Raiders? Get them back on TV. Actually build a tag team division on Raw that hasn't just been two teams. Let's get these guys in the mix. It's something to do. It can show hopefully the dominance of the Vision or the Bronze as well. Kind of help feed into that. I'm not saying that they fully become a tag team, but they work well together. And I think it should be just a way to really show their destructive dominance without having to lose in singles matches when they take on the bigger stars like the CM Punks and the co. So maybe this is something we start through. Could we have a storyline involving these four guys? I kind of feel that's the way it's gone. Could we stretch it out? Yeah, but I think, like I said, I know a rabbit on. The Brons to win today against the Usos. Next match I think will be for the vacant Women's World Championship match, Iyo Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer. Oh, I feel they dropped the ball here, WWE, with their creative. But with both these women, to be honest, especially I feel sorry, I guess, or bad for Stephanie Vaquer. Ever since being called up to the main roster, it's just like she had a little bit of a brief stint there. She won the Battle Royal or Evolution to set up a championship match at Clash in Paris. Awesome, this is where it's going to go. Iyo Sky was going to face Naomi, who had obviously cashed in on Iyo at Evolution. And so the winner of that match was going to be the one who went to Evolution to face Stephanie Vaquer. And then, well, we all know what happened. Good moment. I mean, outside of it, Naomi obviously had to vacate the championship because of her pregnancy. Congratulations. Awesome moment. But like she said, those heifers better watch out because she will be back. But it's like that happened and everybody's brain just went to meltdown and creative. They had a perfect opportunity at Clash in Paris to still do this match there. Now there's talk that maybe they wanted to put it onto Wrestlepalooza because eventually Wrestlepalooza got announced and all that hoo-ha that's around it with ESPN and stuff. And they wanted to save something for that. Nah, I think it's just come at a cost to Stephanie more than anything. Because with Iyo, they've had the ability with what's going on with, you could say, the breakup of the Kabuki Warriors, not the Kabuki Warriors, what Damage Control kind of silently just disappeared, you know what I mean? But you know, you had Iyo, you've got Asuka, and you've got Kairi Sane there, the interaction with 3 and 3. It looks like Asuka. Man, I'm loving this new direction with Asuka. This kind of, I don't think she's fully a heel yet. Yeah, to me, she's like, we know it's coming. I know it's coming. We'll just hold off on officially saying that she's a heel. You know, but that could be fully cemented tonight. A lot going on, and it's been good for Iyo Sky because she still had something to do. There's been something for her to do. She's been in matches when she's lost, and it's, you know, Asuka's come out and said, you should have been there with us. And even as recently as Friday, Stephanie versus Kairi Sane, you know, Asuka. She was at ringside yelling at Kairi. Kairi lost, and then she was going to get in the ring there, you know, with Stephanie. Then Iyo ran down and told Asuka, no. Kind of using some calming down effects like you would on an angry animal. But yeah, that's been brewing. And I think the culmination of that is going to happen at Wrestlepalooza. And I think Stephanie Vaquer deservedly will win this championship at Wrestlepalooza in Indianapolis. And I think we're going to see the full turn, if you like, of Asuka. Now, I'm not sure if it will be a interference that may go wrong, or maybe a purpose interference that costs Iyo, or it may be a post-match. I've had enough of this BS. You asked us to stay away. We stayed away. You couldn't get it done. Bang. Whack. Asuka Iyo Sky feud story starts. So that's my prediction for this match. Stephanie Vaquer to win against Iyo Sky. And what could that set up? Well, I think we know that Rhea Ripley is in the, she's in the background. She's already said to Stephanie, she's ready. She's going to be there. And maybe, do we go straight into Stephanie Rhea, which will then kind of lead to, what is it, Perth Crown Jewel in, what do we say, October? That kind of makes sense. Once again this week showing what a workhorse. At WrestlePalooza will be her third match this week. So many times she's done multiple matches over a space of less than a week, actually. In 3 days, she's kind of, I think at one stage it was 3 days, 4 matches or something like that. Craziness. That's when she was still on NXT. So yeah, definitely a fan of both women. Stephanie, I think it's now the time. You brought her up, she was a superstar, and you dropped the ball. Well, it's time to pick that ball back up, give it to her, and let her go for it. Right now, it's another tag match, and it is CM Punk, AJ Lee versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. Husband and wife versus husband and wife. And let's face it, all we want to see is AJ Lee back in the ring wrestling. My God, she has not missed a beat. To see her return a couple of weeks ago, absolutely nuts on SmackDown. Now, because of how the Divas division, the women's division was at the time when AJ Lee was last with the WWE, she never really got to fully, in my opinion, showcase a lot of the talent that she has. But she can go. And she looks fantastic. It looks like she hasn't missed a beat. The promos are still on really good, solid promos. And the character works there. She is AJ Lee, and I'm looking forward to, I think, like everybody else, to seeing how she goes. Now, I think it's going to be her, obviously, ring rust first match back since over 10 years, right? So I expect the bulk of it will become between CM Punk and Seth Rollins. And when Becky and AJ do get in, because obviously mixed tag match rules in WWE means if the woman's tagged in, the other woman just has to go in, right? But I think we'll see a little bit of back and forth between them all anyway, all four of them sort of thing. Look, AJ Lee's in there with one of the greatest women wrestlers of all time, I think, in Becky bloody Lynch. And she will help carry this match. I think definitely carry her side with AJ Lee. Nothing against AJ Lee, but again, like I said, it'll be the first in-ring match for over 10 years. AJ Lee's got a lot of ring rust to shake off. So to be in the ring with someone like Becky Lynch, and Becky showed it with Lyra, she can really carry and run and rule a match. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. This match has the potential, and look, to be honest, this match is probably likely to be match of the night, if not heavily chased by Stephanie versus Iyo. The outcome here, though, again, Seth and Becky, part of the Vision. She's kind of said she's in the Vision, but is she in the whole Vision stable? Or is she kind of just with Steph as part of the Vision? Steph? Seth. We'll see. But yeah, this works out perfectly. And look, I would not be against this storyline continuing a little bit further. Maybe even stretching it out to Survivor Series, with a culmination perhaps of, say, the Vision versus Punk, AJ Lee, and maybe the Usos in LA Knight. Depends on what happens there. Too far ahead. Look, everyone's going to be wanting CM Punk and AJ Lee. Oh my God, too many AJs to win. But gosh, I'm going to be controversial here. I'm going to go for Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch through some form of shenanigans to win. And I would not be surprised if it's AJ Lee taking the pin from Becky Lynch. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Brons make an appearance, causing a little bit of a hoo-ha. It could draw back in the Usos, or could draw an LA Knight. I don't know. That's like over here as well, kind of with the Randy Orton thing, keeping somewhere part of your mind. If it's done right, I think it could lead to just a distraction, or just some way that the heels, Becky and Seth, can win, with Becky taking out AJ Lee in a, I was going to say evil manner. but in just a underhanded manner to be able to pick up that pin while CM Punk's kind of been drawn in with Seth and the other fellas. We'll see. But yeah, I'm going to go out on a big limb here, and I'm going to pick Becky Lynch pinning AJ Lee to give Becky and Seth the victory. What's down the line? Well, I think we could see a rematch between these four. It's also, I mean, look, let's be frank. The addition of Becky Lynch and AJ Lee to this Punk Seth feud story has been a breath of fresh air. I mean, Becky Lynch added just another little yes, and then AJ Lee was like, whoa, and it just absolutely just taken it to a next level. So I really want to keep those girls involved within this because the Seth Punk thing, was it getting stale? I feel it maybe have just stretched it out too far. The dough was getting real thin between those two. So this, I think, adding these women to the mix, it just helps this feud. And like I said, it could lead further down the line to a massive culmination at Survivor Series. I mean, you might even want to take AJ and Becky out of it by then, and they have their own separate feud together, which I think is a good idea, for the Intercontinental Championship that intertwines with Punk and Seth, because it's going to help each other out, I think, there. I don't know. The build-up and everything to this point has been fantastic, especially since AJ Lee's return. Before, when Becky was added at SummerSlam, when she low-blowed Punk, that was fantastic. That was a really good, nice breath of fresh air. But like I said, AJ Lee comes into the mix, bang. Now we got to keep this going after today. It can't be a one and done. If it's Punk and Lee winning, and I feel I'm really going against the grain by saying it's not, I feel that could potentially just be the end of it. Punk moves on. AJ Lee, well, she'll probably likely move on with Becky anyway. But if the heels get the win, however it is, shenanigans, most likely. I just think it can lead to somewhere else. Anyway, I'm waffling. I pick Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch to pick up the win. And down to the main event, we've got Never Seen 17 retirement John Cena facing the returning Brock Lesnar. So SummerSlam, face Cena, loses to Cody. He's in the ring getting his flowers, and then whose music hits? Brock Lesnar. He appears, F5 Cena, walks away. Yeah. SmackDown Chicago. Sami Zayn versus John Cena, United States Championship Open Challenge match. Out comes who? Brock Lesnar. F5's Sami, then Cena. He walks out. See you, Wrestlepalooza. Beep. I get it. I'm looking forward to seeing this match. I wouldn't say I'm salivating and I'm, oh wow, this is awesome. Like, this is not CM Punk Cena. This is not Randy Orton Cena sort of levels of excitement for me. It's just Brock Lesnar is a part-timer. Has been for donkeys. He's been gone for what, 2 years prior to the SummerSlam return? Is he doing this match and then buggering it off for another 2 years? I believe he signed a new contract maybe a month ago or whatever. Yeah, look, I'll just cut to the chase. I don't think John Cena can afford too many losses in his retirement tour. He's had one against Cody, which makes sense. I think depending on who his final opponent is, that could potentially be another loss. So I don't think he has many losses up his sleeve that you really want to give him on this tour, and I don't think this is one of them. I think John Cena, he gets revenge for the last time me and Matt at SummerSlam when Cena got absolutely destroyed by Brock Lesnar, and I think that's what it's going to culminate in. I think Brock's going to dominate the majority of this match as he can and does, but I think Super Cena is going to fire up, and Super Cena is going to do what he always has to. He's going to hustle, he's going to be loyal, and he's going to, get all that going together, all those catchphrases together, and he's going to win this match against Brock Lesnar. And I think then we just don't see Brock Lesnar for a while. The build-up for this since SummerSlam has been, insert comments here. I mean, Brock Lesnar showed up on SmackDown last week, just gone, and supposedly to set up the match and talk about it. And all he did was, well, R-Truth came out. All he did was try and remember who R-Truth was. F5'd him and then walked out, kind of setting up the match there. Cena's last match, last appearance on SmackDown was the week before in Chicago. We got F5'd by Brock. Setting up the match, and then Raw, we just had Cena, usual speech from Cena. This has been, it's not helped because Cena's obviously very limited dates now, especially as we get to the end. We are in, single digits? And how many more appearances he's got. And Brock Lesnar, obviously part-time, limited appearances. I mean, the build's just been caca. You know, you look that up. And it's just, I'm looking forward to it because it's a spectacle. It's two big names, John Cena, Brock Lesnar. But I'm not excited for it. I understand why it's likely to be the main event because I think Joe Testator kind of alluded to that maybe a couple of weeks ago on an ESPN show. Yeah, I'd rather have the Punk AJ Lee tag match as the main event. I'm hoping maybe they'll flip it, but I don't think so. There is a possibility that this could open. Brock wants to just come and get it done and go back to wherever in the Wop Wops of Canada or Minnesota, wherever he's been on his farm. There's a possibility of that. We'll see. Anyway, folks, thank you for joining me. I know I did rabbit on, not much about that last match. I think it's pretty straightforward. John Cena wins. And then who else is next? But yeah, thanks a lot, folks. I do appreciate this, and hopefully for your support here on this first ever video. And catch me for my debut stream doing wrestling at Wrestlepalooza. That will be streamed live. I think it's a 12 p.m. New Zealand kickoff on the Sunday, my time. It is in Indianapolis. So yeah, so probably about 12 o'clock kickoff. I may start at 11:30, do a little bit of the kickoff show. We'll see. But I hope to see you all there. And thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. And follow me on X at RTB Wrestling, LIN, on X there. And yeah, we'll hope to see you in the live stream and in the comments below. Let me know what your predictions are as well. Until next time, ring the bell!